we have another bootleg in our hands. It's an old one, but is it a good one? Let's check it out. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Yes, today we have another AliExpress bootleg to look at. This is a KO of amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Wolverine, something that has been out there on the market for years, and after all this time I finally decided to pull the trigger and get it. Why? I would say that the quality of Agent Venom and Deadpool 2.0 bootlegs is the main reason that pushed me over the edge. I wanted a Wolverine in that same style to go along with those two guys. I also have some customizing ideas for this figure, but we'll leave that for another video. But for now, we're gonna take a look at this KO as it is, and we're gonna see if it's any good. As I said, it's an older bootleg, so I don't expect the same quality that we are getting with today's knockoffs, like for example the ones that City Toys makes. But then again, you never know. So as always, let's start with the packaging that is beaten up, but it's in a relatively good condition, you know, by AliExpress standards. It's a standard Revoltech box with a window showing the figure and the accessories. We have a promo shot here, and this guy was number 5 in Revoltech line. Original was released all the way back in 2017, so this KO must have been made like a year later. Marvel logo is obviously missing. Here is one side of the box, other side, back of the box with more promo shots and Wolverine fighting Deadpool. Here is the top of the box and the bottom. So now, let's open it up and let's take a look at this KO. Inside of the box is the exact same image that we saw on the back of the box. So there's that. And here is our Wolverine KO out of the box. Now, I should say that I don't own the original, so I can't compare how similar this guy is to the real thing. All I can say comes from seeing online images of the original, and based on that, this KO looks pretty good. To be completely honest, and I talked about it before in my other KO videos, at first I was not a fan of Revoltech figures. For some reason their aesthetics just wasn't appealing to me. That especially applied to this guy, well, the original. The articulation was always great, but I just didn't like the look, the way that they were designing their sculpts and brakes for articulation purposes. But in the last couple of years they kind of tweaked the way that they designed the bodies, and I kind of started liking it a bit more. Even now when I'm looking at this KO, I'm not a fan of this look. I think that amazing Yamaguchi would do a phenomenal job if they would make a new version, like a 2.0 version like they did with Deadpool. I'm sure that that one would be incredible. But this bootleg, for what it is, looks good. Keep in mind that this is a $15 to $20 figure. I've seen a lot of people buying these for customization, and as I said, I have the same idea. So what you are getting here is a figure with relatively okay sculpt, but with a lot of paint issues. There is a lot of paint bleeding, especially on the blue details, and you can see that the X logo on the belt is missing some yellow paint. Then again, paint is something that a lot of us can fix ourselves, so that may not be a big issue. Skin tone of the arms is kind of weird, and I'm not a fan of this gap around the neck. I've done my best to hide it as much as I possibly can, but it's still visible. We have that same thing on the original, but I don't think that it's as bad as it is on this KO. Other than that, the figure feels sturdy, so that's good. Here is a closer look at the head, and again, it's not that bad. I've seen worse. Eyes are well painted, but the black line on the mouth is a bit too much. Maybe I'll repaint that down the line. Here is the back of the head, and here you can see that on the back side of the ear the ears are not fully painted. You can see the base yellow paint in there. And here is a quick look at the boots, and I've noticed that the Revoltech joints in the ankles are in skin tone, which I'm sure should not be like that. They are probably black on the original. Now let's take a look at his accessories. He comes with 2 alternate heads, so 3 heads total, one with grinning teeth and one with mouth open like he's yelling, and again both of them look relatively okay for what they are. On the top of this head there is some more paint bleeding, but at least the inner side of the ears is painted on this one, while on this one we have the same case as what we saw on the head that is on the body. And here is a look at all 3 of them side by side. He also comes with a pair of fisted hands that are already on the figure, a pair of trigger finger hands for some reason, 1 cigar holding hand but comes without a cigar, and it was the same case with the original release. He also comes with a pair pair of dynamic open hands. These pieces from which the claws come out are detachable, so you can put these on the fisted hands as well. Because on these other three, the trigger finger hands and the cigar hand, these are not removable. He comes with a pair of exaggerated claws, and these kind of remind me of how they look in Marvel vs. Capcom games. And we can plug them into the fisted hands. And here is how they look on the figure alongside the yelling head. He also comes with this that should represent the slicing effect, and it has a peg on the other side. This should peg into the back of Deadpool, like they showed on the back of the box. So it's nice that they gave you this effect, but it's something that I don't think I'll be using. But again, it's good to have options, it's good that it's included. And finally, you also get a stand. And I mean, if you go on eBay or AliExpress to buy a flight stand, that alone will probably cost you around $10. And so again, another good thing is that this is included in this KO set. Before we take a look at his articulation, I have to say that I did have some issues when I first got him out of the box. His right arm was separated from the body and shoulder joints are really stiff. The point where when I try to move the arm, the joint tends to split into two pieces. That is why I would always advise anyone getting a KO or even the original to heat up the joint whenever you feel that they won't move. Don't force it because there is a high chance you could break something. Okay, so other than that, I didn't have any other issues with the articulation on this guy. Now, let's take a look at his articulation. The head is on that Revoltech joint, and there is even a separate floating piece here that covers the gap. So this guy can turn the head side to side, rotate it 360. You get a little bit of side to side tilt. He can look down this much, up this much. There is a little bit of movement in the neck, but I feel like there should be more, so it's kind of limited. We have that standard amazing Yamaguchi joint for the shoulders, something that should probably represent butterfly joint. It swivels forwards and backwards and give you extra movement for the arms. Standard Revoltech joint in the shoulders, so the arm can rotate. It can go out all the way. There is a swivel on that joint, another swivel in the elbows, and the elbows bend this much. This lower part of the arm keeps on popping off. This ball joint here is a bit too tight. I will need to heat that up, try to loosen it up a little bit. For the wrist, we have a swivel, and the hand can rotate in any direction depending on how you turn that peg. There are two cuts in the torso. One is up here and the other one is behind the belt. Together they give you some nice range of movement. He can tilt side to side, bend forward this much, back this much. This guy doesn't have drop down hips, but legs move out this much. They kick forward this much, back this much. There is a thigh cut, double jointed knee. We have a boot cut, so there is a swivel and a nice range of movement in all directions, and then a swivel in the ankle, and feet move forward this much, back this much. We have a toe joint and a nice ankle pivot. Okay, so now let's compare our Wolverine KO to some other figures. Here he is with Mafex X-Force Wolverine and Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Wolverine. Here he is with Mafex Gambit and Marvel Legends Symbiote Spider-Man. Here he is with the original Mafex 185 Classic Suit Spider-Man and the City Toys bootleg version of that Spider-Man. Here he is with Marvel Legends movie Logan and Marvel Legends movie Deadpool. And to compare him with some other amazing Yamaguchi bootlegs from AliExpress, here he is with City Toys Agent Venom and Deadpool 2.0, the better KO version. Here he is with Mafex Daredevil and Marvel Legends Juggernaut bootleg from AliExpress. So that was my look at the amazing Yamaguchi Wolverine bootleg from AliExpress. Is this figure worth the price of $15 to $20? It all depends on what you want. If you like the look of this guy and you want a cheap copy that you can mess around with, pose it without fear that you'll break an expensive original, this is not a bad option. Also, if you're looking for a nicely articulated Wolverine body for customizing, I would say yes, you should probably get this KO. Other than that, of course I would prefer the original. That goes for all bootleg figures. It's always better to have the original because of the numerous reasons, but if you can't get it, this is not a bad option. The articulation range is great, and if you also have Deadpool to go alongside this guy, you'll have a lot of fun posing two guys together. But those were just my thoughts. Now I would love to hear yours. What do you guys think about this bootleg? Do you have it? Do you plan on getting it? Do you have the original and how different is it from this KO? Let me know all of that down in the comments. As always, a special thank you goes out to my supporters on Patreon. Thank you guys for helping me to keep the channel alive, because everything that I earn over there goes into the channel's content, so thank you for your support. If anyone else can join over there, please do so, and if not, that's also okay, because you are helping the channel simply by watching and sharing my videos. So thank you all for watching, thank you for being here with me, and I'll see ya in the next one.